I'm focused mainly on integration of generative artificial intelligence along the whole research cycle. And today I prepared for you just a general fly-through through the topic. So this will be just really just a general view. And I will be talking mainly about generative AI. And sometimes people have the feeling like ChatGPT is the artificial intelligence, but that's not right. Artificial intelligence is a large group of various algorithms, and the generative AI is just this small subset, and I will be talking mainly about large language models. And in general, the generative AI is a subset of algorithms that were trained on massive amounts of existing data to generate novel and original forms of content. And to start with, I will walk you through a general introduction on the large language models. And I will have to start with what the large language models are not. And large language models are not web search tools, and they are not databases. And in fact, the models do not have any internal facts, databases, or even access to the training data. So you can basically imagine them as being not a library, but a librarian who read all the books, which means all the digitalized text ever written by human, which was digitalized. And based on this training and reading, the librarian created a mental map of language and of the world, and it uses this map to predict what words should follow your input. So it's not doing anything else than generating natural coherent responses which are based only on the map it was able to generalize from the training data. And the librarian now does not have access to the books which it read anymore, because you can imagine it being locked in a data center, and you have to keep in mind that it actually never seen the real world. And this is why sometimes we talk about hallucinations, and because the mental map of the large language models does not really correspond to the real world, like in every detail. And when I talk about hallucinations, some of the hallucinations can be caused by technical constraints. And here you see an example where I'm asking GPT-4o, this is the default model you have set in the application, how many L's are in the sentence I hallucinate. And you see that the model generates immediately an answer that there are 3 L's. Yeah, okay. So from the first view, you can actually see that it is hallucinating now. And even if I ask at which positions, it continues to build on the hallucination from the previous response. So now it states that the L's are at the 4th, 5th, and 12th position. And in this case, you can actually immediately see that is hallucinating. But in the moment that you will enter some complex query and you will get a complex response, it's quite difficult to see if it is actually hallucinating or not. And this type of hallucinations is stemming from technical constraints, because the large language models, they are mathematical functions and they do not operate with words or with letters, but they are converting your input into their own units called tokens, and these tokens are then represented by numerical vectors. Basically, this is all the large language model is seeing from your input. It is a string of numbers where the vectors, the numbers, are representing semantic meanings and relationships. Yeah, so this is the thing that can help you to see the limitations of the large language models. And you see that it's actually kind of important to at least partially understand the technical details. Okay, so the large language models hallucinate, and now it's the right time to ask if it does even make sense to use such tools in research. And yes, I have good news here that the large language models can use tools, and some of these tools enable to ground the models on facts or enable them to write code, call a virtual environment and execute the code so it can provide you with the result of the calculation, which is then right, and this is delivered into the chat. One of the tools which are now widely available for the large language models is web search. Again, the model can formulate a query and call a search function and scrape the text and then summarize the results or synthesize the response and provide it back to you. So there are means how to ground the large language models on facts. And when I come back to these hallucinations you see, now as a user, I know that it actually has the tools, so I can ask the large language model to write a script and verify. And in this moment, you can see that it activated the virtual environment and calculated the else using Python. And now it is providing you with the correct answer. And it is important for you as a user to know if you are working with the large language model or with a model which is able to use tools, and that there are certain moments when you have to explicitly ask the model to use it. And not only the tool use, but also various modalities are now available for these models. And this enables quite complex workflows for you. And this means that when you have a mobile app where you have this application like ChatGPT, you can actually use various types of input and get from the user interface various types of output. And as an example, try to imagine that you are in your lab doing some practical experiments, and you are running some experiments on the machine. And once the run is done, then there are these results and numbers presented on the screen. What you can do is take out your mobile phone, activate the mobile app, take a screenshot of the machine monitor, switch the app into the dictate mode and tell the ChatGPT from this image, extract the numbers, convert them into a table, calculate basic statistics, and provide it for me in Excel to download. And then you walk into your office, and then on the desktop, you already within the conversation have a link to download the data, which are where already the statistics is performed. And yeah, this enables you not anymore to sit just by your desktop and to communicate with the tools via this small chat window, but now you are free to move around your environment and integrate various inputs, outputs. Maybe you notice that there is this advanced voice function now within all the major applications with chatbots. So you can even talk, you can set custom instructions and tell it that you are the research assistant, that you are expert in imaging, and you can go and walk around in the forest and talk with this assistant and brainstorm about your own research and about your context. Yeah, so now is the time just to switch from the view that the chatbot is just something where you need to sit and type something. No, you can just walk around the world and very natural interact with it. And there are not only tools. At the end of the last year, there was this new paradigm introduced where the providers enabled the models to have this reasoning step before they provide you with the output. So this means that they have this internal monologue about the problem that you want them you want to talk with them about. And within this reasoning step, you see this is the question. I'm asking if this number is a prime number or not. And this gray line, this is the inner monologue, the reasoning of the model, where you can you can click on it and you can watch a summary of this process which is running internally. And you see that the model now is actually verifying that it understood your input. It's trying to define if it understood the individual words and what you actually want. Then it's building a plan, and it's performing the plan step by step until it has a notion about what the right answer is. And then this is exactly what you see in the chat, and you see that the response is right. So not only tools, now the models also can use reasoning and internal monologue to make sure that they understand your query. And I don't know if you are aware of this, but all of you can use the top and state-of-the-art reasoning models now for free. And it is in this application provided by Google, the Google AI Studio, where the only entry you need is your account by Google. So once you get into the Google AI Studio, there is this chat option, and this is where you can activate the state of the art and the best of the reasoning models that are currently available. And here you can just chat and ask whatever you need to consult with the chatbot, be it experimental design or some hypothesis verification or whatever suits your context. And if you will be experimenting with this app, there is also this feature where you can ground the response on Google search. And again, this can serve to ground the chatbot on the facts a little bit more than if it was just answering only based on its mental map of the world. However, this year, in the spring, there was this even newer paradigm introduced, and these are the large language models which are able to use tools within the reasoning, meaning that they are having this internal monologue, and once they encounter some complex step, they can decide to call a tool to help them think about the problem before they provide you with the response. And yeah, you can see this is the same question as I asked before, but the model is not only having a monologue about doing a plan, but is actually calling a virtual environment and writing code and verifying, their own hypothesis and so on, to provide you with the best response. And this is probably now the most complex, are the most complex types of the large language models, and these are available for you in the ChatGPT app in the paid version, and it's from the OpenAI. And to show you, because yeah, you are into imaging, these models like O3 now have like extraordinary advanced visual reasoning. And maybe this could help you with your own work, help you with analyzing microscopy images and so on. I decided to show you this short example where I have this print screen from some image from the web, and I was asking the model to calculate the number of the cells. And you can see that immediately the model is writing script, and it recognized that it actually would need to zoom into the image. It knows that what probably are the colors corresponding to which type of the cytoskeleton, and it proceeds step by step, and it's able to count the number of the cells in the view field. And I would guess that it's able to do some pretty more complex stuff. However, this is just a new model, and no one really tried what is possible to do with it. So it's up to you to experiment, and maybe it can be really helpful in your own context, working with images from microscopy and or for whatever you could need. So yeah, this is up to you. Like, no one is going to tell you you can use this for analyzing the images this way, because no one knows, no one tried within your context. So please go experiment and then share what you found out with your community. So what are the current capabilities of the large language models? And there are various benchmarks. the benchmarks are measuring the capabilities of the models so we are able to compare them. And one benchmark I follow is the GPQA Diamond, which is an extremely challenging multiple choice question in biology, physics, and chemistry. It's Google proof. It means that the model, even if it has this tool to search web, it will not be able to find the answers online. So it is a test of a deep understanding and multi-step reasoning in specialized scientific areas. And these are the results for the models. These violets are the ones which do not have the internal monologue. These are the non-reasoning LLMs, and most of them can use tools. And in the green color, you see the models with the internal monologue, the reasoning LLMs. But what is striking is this is the score of the best human experts in the fields with the PhD. And now you see that the current state of the art large language models actually can be really helpful within natural sciences and within the fields and within your context if you are working the right way with them. Uh, so, just to summarize, the complexity of the large language models is growing, and maybe that up till now you just experimented with the free version of ChatGPT, which is mainly for all, and you might have experienced that it's not really suitable for some types of tasks. Yeah, but it does not mean that the more advanced and more complex models would not be actually really helpful and would not help you to come with some more efficient workflows or more innovative ideas. Yeah, so please just, if you are interested in this field, do not judge the capabilities of the large language models based on the free versions, but just go try and experiment with the most complex one. Even the complexity, the highest complexity, does not mean that the model will do the task for you. Every time you will need to prepare the task, meaning mainly that you need to prepare prompt, how to tell the model what you actually want. Then the model could do part of the task, and at the end it will be again you who would need to critically evaluate the outcome. Yeah, because you already know that the large language models do hallucinate, and I need to stress here that even with the use of the tools or the advanced reasoning, there is no guarantee that the response would be factually correct. And this is something you always need to keep in mind. And the best way how to approach this is that the interpretation of the information from the responses which the models provide you should be taken only as the best guess of the model. And this does not apply only for the general conversation, but also if you are working with some uploaded documents, PDFs, which you will need to want the model to summarize for you, or if you ask it to find some information online, anytime it is really important, there is no shortcut, and you will have to read the primary source to make sure that there are not inaccuracies or that the model did not hallucinate a part of it. And maybe you are aware that there are these living guidelines on the responsible use of generative AI in research. This is a really great document which can help you in about how you should think about using the models and how to take the responsibility for the outcomes. And this is the actualized version from April 2025, so it's quite freshly a fresh actualization. So yeah, please just go and check. It's a really useful information there. So how should we use the models? And there is this integration hierarchy. And if we start from the basis of this pyramid, most people and most of the users are using large language models as passive tools with just basic functionalities. So they are using it as a digital pen to check spelling, to check paragraphs, grammars, and this is like the most safe way how to use large language models, but also the most boring. And you are not really harvesting the potential which is locked within those tools. Some people already are using it as a task specialist where you can ask the chatbot to review your code and suggest some optimizations for better performance. So you can delegate some of the subtasks under your direction. Uh, the higher uh, level of use is when you find out that it could be a really flexible assistant and that you could simply ask it to help you plan a project or help you to write a project proposal, and you already know how to prompt and how to evaluate and what are the limits. This is where you already get some really interesting and helpful outcomes from the model. But at the top of the pyramid is this co-creator level where you suddenly find out that the large language model could be an active and equal partner in your thinking and creative process. And yeah, this is just an example prompt how this relationship could look. It's like you can type, let's uncover why the signaling pathway shows memory effects. I bring the molecular biology, you bring the system thinking from other fields, because the large language models are great in generalizing patterns and by translating the patterns from field to field. And this is something what could actually help you to come with some really innovative ideas. Yeah, so the large language models do not provide you with copy-paste answers. Yeah, never copy-paste, because you can be sure that each time the response will have some kind of inaccuracy or hallucination. So never copy-paste, and take it like the large language models are providing you with a very rich substrate and material for your own thinking and critical evaluation. And in the moment you will realize this, then these tools can be extremely helpful for you. And back to how the large language models can be used in your research, I prepared this list of some of the top or most used applications for research and tools. Of course, most of you already probably experimented with some of the chatbots. There are various providers, and each of the model is specific. The training data might have differed, the training itself might have differed, and each lab has some kind of secret sauce. And the best way how to know which is the best app for you is to actually try all of them and try side by side to compare the outcomes of various models on the same query. Yeah, because you never know in advance which will be most suitable for your particular context. Uh, there are large language models assisted search engines like Perplexity or Yukon, which are optimized for the search. However, still, this does not mean that these tools provide you with accurate answers. Especially Perplexity has quite a high hallucination rate. This is something which we tested. It looks yeah, if you look at the outcome from a Perplexity search, you can see that it provided you with 40 relevant citations or references. But once you click on the reference, it will just take you outside of the Perplexity to the web or to the article. However, it does not show you from which part of the article the statement was drawn. And sometimes we saw that this statement could come from some random, like these panels which did not correspond to the article itself. Whereas UCOM, it's a bit better in this because it works similar to Perplexity. However, if you click the reference, it will take you to the source article and it will show you from which part of the article the information was drawn. So you can immediately see that if it was from methods or if it was just synthesizing the response based on abstract or maybe some citation at the end from the references and so on. So yeah, be careful with these search engines. Then there are apps that are actually optimized for scientific research and for work with scientific literature. Especially Cite is now considered to be a top product because Cite is one of the tools which can actually draw information from articles which are behind paywalls. Not from all, but the rest of the apps, they do not have, they cannot see articles which are behind the paywalls. However, they are not going to tell you that they are providing you the synthesis of the information just based on the abstract. Yeah, so be careful with this. Lit maps and similar applications are providing citation networks. This is just another approach how to work with literature. This means that you can, call your own article and create a citation map which will show you which articles cited your article and which articles were cited by the articles that were citing your article, and you can go step by step in all directions within the citation networks, and sometimes it helps you to reveal literature and sources which you might have overlooked by the classical search just because the keywords or the title of the article was weird, or anything like this. Writing assistants, I believe that most of you who are publishing are already using some of the writing assistants that help you paraphrase the text and polish it. And especially if you are not a primary English speaker, this is extremely helpful. And now we even see like integration of some of the tools within the chatbots. For example, in the paid version of ChatGPT, if you are writing a text, then below the conversation, you have this small bar where you can click, and the click will take you to Killbot, which will immediately help you humanize the text so it would not sound like written by ChatGPT. Yeah, you probably know that the ChatGPT has this specific language which is quite nicely recognizable by all these key words like key and intricate and realm and delved. Yeah, once you are reading articles with these words, you can be sure that it was edited or generated by ChatGPT. Then there are these new features which are basically within the chatbots. And the chatbots in the normal setting can perform web search. However, the deep research, especially in ChatGPT, it's a standalone model, agentic model, which was trained by reinforcement learning to be excellent in not only literature research, but also in like really intelligent insights, which it can provide you based on the sources it found. It's able to identify blind spots, and you can ask, what are we missing in the field? Or you can ask to predict the scenario about your applied research, how your, I don't know, patent would be successful, and do all these like really strategic and deep analysis. And from my own experience, I would say that currently from all of the applications and functionalities that are provided, the O3 deep research, if you know how to prompt it right and how to write the prompt and how to operate it, then this is the most brilliant and useful tool you can have. There is also a very good deep research in the paid version of Gemini, and these two types of the deep research are complementary because the deep research from OpenAI is able to provide you with these intelligent insights. However, it does not search that many sources, whereas Gemini could go, and I saw it doing like 700 sources, doing synthesis from 700 sources. However, the synthesis is just a synthesis. It's a little bit dry. It's not going to provide you with this intelligent, deep connections. So what works best is actually combining when you are needing for some good research. It's great to run the same prompt with the O3 deep research in ChatGPT and do the same with the Gemini. And yeah, I might skip also one of the apps which is extremely helpful, and if you do not know, please check it. This is definitely worth it. This is the Notebook LM provided by Google. You can use it for free with about 30 sources. But what makes this application special is that it is a grounded database. It does not work with online sources. It does work only with the sources you provide into the knowledge base, and is really grounded in the knowledge base. So anytime you ask anything, it will provide you with the response, and the response has this reference. And if you click the reference, it will take you to the document and show you the exact paragraph and the exact line from where the information was taken. So try to imagine that you can have like 30 review articles, the most current articles for your research topic, and you can just with natural language ask questions like, was this method done, or what is the method if I need to do this or that? You can have tender documentation or whole documents considering some of your project proposals or project that you are running. You can have a notebook which will have all the protocols you are using in the lab, and anytime you need to find a protocol or just a minor note or something from the protocol, you just can ask via the chat interface, and it will show you which protocol and which part of the protocol relates best to your query. It can also create mind maps and timelines, and what is a great feature, also podcasts, AI generated. So yeah, please check on this tool. This could be definitely helpful. And if you would have the paid version, which is associated with the Gemini ecosystem from Google, then you can upload up to 300 various sources. It's like, yeah, the whole knowledge from within the last few years could be stored in this knowledge database for you just to come and to ask with a natural language like anything you need to know, and it will show you the article from which it is coming. There are applications which are using LLMs for data analysis, and you can analyze data within the chatbots, so within any chatbots that are able to use code interpreter, so-called. ChatGPT is using Python, Claude is using JavaScript, and you can perform the analysis within the chatbots, or you can go to apps which are specialized, like Julius, specialized apps for data analysis assisted with the large language models. And these provide you with some more data protection, especially the paid versions. It's if you are working with some sensitive data and so on, it's great to go this way. The trend of the year 2025 are AI agents. These are somehow partially autonomous systems where you as a user provide a query, and then the agent spins the plan and does the workflow, and then comes back to you with the response or with anything you needed. And here I would ask you to go and check the Future House platform. And the Future House is now providing for beta testing for free for anyone who wants to try these agents which are optimized for scientific research. Yeah, so there is no barrier between you and between experimenting with this state-of-the-art technology as of the agents used for as agents in the research. Yeah, and then there are, of course, many apps which can help you with these minor tasks like doing visuals and schemes or automating of presentation creation, where you can simply upload your article or upload, some notes from your experiments and click enter and select a template, and in 30 seconds you will have a professionally looking presentation. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but in ChatGPT now there is this native image generation, and it's actually so good right now that it can help, it can design scientifically accurate images, kind of accurate, yeah. But you can then play with the image, and we are not really far from ChatGPT being able to generate visual abstracts for your publications. And yeah, there is an article from April in Nature. It is a comment, and they are actually describing a lot of these tools and which are useful, and there are some opinions on this. So feel free just to go and read this Nature article to gain more information. So once again, the deep research in the paid version of ChatGPT with O3 is an excellent tool. I would recommend you to try it. Definitely try and experiment with Notebook LM, and please go and check the latest agents in the scientific research by playing with the Future House. Uh, yeah, and now I will be talking about the use in the research workflow within the whole research cycle. So you can see that here I try to break down the research cycle into the individual steps and sub-steps. And yeah, there is now an app, a system, or a tool that can support you during any of their steps, be it performing literature reviews, brainstorming potential research questions, doing design, experimental design, or troubleshooting your experiments. The reasoning models are actually very good in troubleshooting, even in complex experiments where you can talk about, how should I change the parameters of the flow or anything technical. They are really good in it. Just go and try and you will see. Again, there are tips and tricks how to write the prompts for the reasoning models to get the maximum out of them. Yeah, but we do not have time to go into details. The tools can help you with the drafting the manuscripts, but also with writing the cover letters or addressing the reviewers' comments, which can be really painful. I'm sure you know this. And not only you can use third-party tools, you can now very easily create your own assistants to support you in the context you have, your context. And it can be done various ways. The most easy way for you without knowing any coding or programming, you can create your own custom AI assistants, for example, in ChatGPT or in UCOM. In ChatGPT, it's via custom GPTs. And since last week, the custom GPTs, if you are using the paid version, you can choose if they will be run by the non-reasoning or the reasoning models. So you can now design support assistants for your workflows, which will be running on the most complex and capable models. So this could like really help you. This is an example of my stack of my agents. I have this one which is able to identify the gaps in the research I am doing. Another one which will help me optimize the hypothesis and all the parameters if it's right and if the experimental design is right. And you can use the outcome of one of the assistants as input for another assistant, and the information and the workflow could flow through in a very natural way. And again, I'm stressing here that they are not providing me with copy-paste responses. You can see that there is this grant proposal master. It's not like with one click it will generate this Horizon project like perfectly. No, it will help me to craft and and to improve each of the part with the SWOT analysis, and it will help me to show me if I was thinking about all the aspects and what are my blind spots and so on. Yeah, you can have assistants to which understand they are prompted via custom instructions and instructed via knowledge bases to be experts in your field so they can support you like really deeply in what you are doing. Of course, it would be best if there would be a living person or a mentor in your lab who will be doing the support for you. Yeah, but you know, the reality is that everyone is busy, and sometimes you are doing something so specific that there is actually no one understanding it. And this is the best way for you to not feel alone. You can just prompt and simulate the expert to talk with. And this whole concept of the AI assistants was tested in real world by Stanford. This is the preprint from a paper which was also cited in Nature, and there was this comment, a whole Nature comment about this concept. So these scientists, they designed the AI. They call it agents. However, there were just AI assistants created basically the same way as you saw in the previous step. The only difference was that they enabled them via the APIs to talk to each other. And they created a whole research team, like with the PI, the principal investigator, the experts which were most suitable for the context of the experiment, which was to design new nano antibodies against SARS-CoV. And basically, they give also the agents an access to external tools like AlphaFold, and the only input was the human telling the PI at the beginning what is the goal of the whole virtual lab. And they tell it, okay, we need you to design these nano antibodies which will be, you know, binding on this receptor and so on. And from that part, the principal investigator was organizing meetings with the agents. This was via the virtual environment, and the PI, you know, just told each of the experts what they are supposed to do, and they had these team meetings. And what was really great that at each step there was this scientific critic, which was like, okay, guys, calm down. I know that you have like this is a great vision. Yeah, we can do it, but this way. But okay, just think about it a little bit. You have these constraints and these constraints. So at each step, the PI had to take into account the feedback of the scientific critic. And this all was running autonomously until there were about 90 nano antibody candidates designed, and then the human experimenters actually generated the antibodies and tested them, and they have shown that like 90% of them had really great affinity to the receptor. So this is such a nice proof of concept that these AI assistants are not just some toy concept, but if used and prompted right, it could actually be really helpful for your individual context. And please note that these agents were running on the non-reasoning models, because this research was done in 2024. And now we have this O3 and O4 line. So try to imagine this whole setup running with these reasoning models. And I'm sure that they are actually doing it and working on it right now. And this is open source. There is a GitHub repo where you can download the code. And if you are a little bit skilled, or you have someone in the lab who is able to do some programming, you can run the whole virtual lab on your own own topic, and you can use the reasoning models. Yeah, so maybe this is information for you how to try to integrate AIs into your workflow, but also this is for you to show which way the future is actually going now. These semi-autonomous virtual assistants, like, and the human researchers are now proceeding more into a role of an overseer of the process, which can be done with the agents. So,
sorry, if
yeah.
we still have only 5 minutes before the end. So
Yes,
if you
yes.
want...
This is the last slide.
Okay, super.
Okay,
Thank you
so
so much.
this is all, and I just wanted to motivate you to go experiment, to play, and whether it's experimental design or writing manuscripts or exploring some new hypotheses, do not worry. Go play, start small, experiment, and let the AI amplify your scientific impact. And thank you for attention.